Hello, everybody, and welcome to this evening's very special stream. It is the announcement of the winners, or the winner. There's no plural here. There is only one. There can be only one, and tonight there will be only one. You have chosen who that one is, and if you haven't yet voted, remember that you can still vote. dungeonfog.com/map Battle Madness. Go and cast your vote if you haven't yet cast it. Now, what are we talking about? We're talking about the map battle that took place last week between the ever-powerful, the ever-present, he made the own software, so technically he kind of has an advantage. If you how you're going to vote for him, you should just bear in mind all those kind of things. I'm not biased at all. Nonetheless, we're talking about Till, of course, who runs the software behind Dungeon Fog. He was facing off against Lord God. I've got them both sitting ready to start talking to you, but before that we've got to go through some other bits and pieces. So they did their 3-hour challenge. Their map has been loaded up onto the website for you to go and look at and vote on. I hope that you all have voted by now. Anyway, and so tonight we're going to crown the winner. We're going to stop the voting halfway through the show and get those results in live. So that should be exciting. We're also going to answer any questions that you might have about the competition, about the maps that were made. We're going to go and look in depth into those maps, really unpack them, kind of see what was going on inside the minds of the creators as they were making them. And now that they've made them, how do they feel about them? So lots to discuss tonight. And then, of course, we'll announce when the next competition will take place so that you might then face off against whoever is crowned the monarch of Map Battle Madness. So who knows? Could be you if you are going to participate. Right, let us bring in the other two. We haven't seen them since last week. Hello, 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 hello.
Hi. Hello.
There we go. Hopefully the audience can hear you. It's always a moment of dread whenever I cut to this side of things. So good to see people in chat are starting to say hello there. We've got Schnitzel, we've got Reinhardt saying hello, and several other people as well. Fran, I see, is there too. So lots of people are joining us now. Right, so folks... let's go back. Cast your minds back to last week. Yeah, I know it's a long time ago for some of you. Now, when it came to what you guys had to do you remember the requirements of what you had to do?
Yep. Well, almost. I hope I can count them up. So we have the city. So it had to be a city involved. There had to be a prison involved, so it should have been a city prison. That was run by... No, that was created by insane builders that originated from a hive being, right? Something like that.
Something like that. I've got a slide to remind you. And there it is there. So yes, it was a city location. So the entire thing had to be in a city. It had to be a prison. That's why it was built. It had to function as a prison. It had to be built by an insane mind. So whoever built it had to be completely insane. And here's a little check for those of you who are watching. The most insane builder ever was the one who desperately tried to be a very good builder, but ended up not being a very good builder at all. Bloody Stupid Johnson, a very famous builder from the well, you tell me what world that builder is from, and I'll give you bonus 500 experience points, which you can use at your next game. Just tell your game master you won them fairly. So yes, an insane mind had to build this prison in the middle of the city, and then the mind itself was a hive being. The species that had built this thing was a hive being, and we had a lot of discussion around hive beings last week. But now that you've had time to reflect upon hive beings, would you have done something differently? Lord God, what would you have done differently with regards to the hive being?
I think I would have taken the same cue that Till did and gone with the sort of traditional Dungeons and Dragons hive mind, hive being, rather than go with something that was an insect. I think it was more what the audience was looking for. So I would have gone that direction.
Till?
I was quite okay with the hexagonal shapes that I built
There were some
to
interesting
reflect
things going
the
on there,
hive. However, I think when I cut the recap, I watched it. And you ask Lord God if he's a Star Trek fan, and then you reference the Borg. And when I was
We are
listening to
Borg.
that, I was like, oh my God, that would have been brilliant too. Kind of a, the old horror movie The Cube. I think it was called The Cube, where you have to pass between all those trap rooms that are slaughtering off everyone. Something like that would have been amazing too. So I think next time, if that ever comes back, I will try to do something like an insane cube puzzle prison that kind of is like a Borg cube.
There you go. There you go. Absolutely. I think when you think about those kind of spaces, what makes it so interesting is that the architecture is all the same. So it would be quite easy to get lost inside that space, I think. So then, not only did you have to do all of that, you then had to include something cute.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about the something cutes that you included? Till, how did you feel about your something cute?
I'm quite proud of it. I feel like it was complete. I knew that I had to include it. I've written it down, and I was like, I'm coming back to that. And by pure accident, I opened the snow and ice folder of the asset pack, and suddenly I was like, oh, wait, seals! I have cute seals. That's perfect. They're the cutest thing ever. Let's put them in there. And then I built just a small story around it. Why not? Why not have a little icy prison where seals are being kept? I'm happy with that.
Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. Lord God, were you happy with your dolls and kids' toys?
I was initially. I was pretty confident that all the toys issued to the prisoners was pretty cute. But then after the competition, I came upstairs and my daughter said, "Daddy, dolls are not cute." So maybe I didn't make the best choice there.
Well, there you go. We know what someone's not getting for Christmas this year. Lovely. And Mr. 52 definitely got who Bloody Stupid Johnson was. He's from Discworld. Absolutely. He would be commissioned to build a castle, and he'd build a bathroom that would basically skin the person who stepped into the shower whilst washing the dishes in the kitchen down below, and possibly or launch a rocket into space, just because he could. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely. What a damning verdict, says Reinhardt, with regards to the dolls are not cute. Yeah, absolutely. You had to include a puzzle, you had to include a mad scientist, a different plane bleeding in, and then pirates. Let's talk about pirates, because pirates really was here's something that has nothing to do with anything in a way, and yet you both seem to be able to incorporate them fairly simply. Lord God, were you happy with your pirates?
I mean, I would have loved to have that challenge earlier and worked it in better. It being the last one was definitely a curveball. So I think I would have just done more with it if I had the time. But I was pretty happy with what I came up with. Luckily, I had that water in the map to build on. If I didn't, I would have been in trouble.
And that water, remind us, you had added in some water. We'll go to the maps shortly, folks. But that water you had just added in as a visual extra.
Yeah, it was just a decoration, really, but it was there.
And suddenly it had pirates. Till, your pirates came in quite handy, actually.
Yeah, they came. So, I mean, I'm still, in hindsight, I wonder why I was surprised by the pirates. Because, I mean, if you bring up a random chart and you let community roll on something, and there are pirates on that chart, I think it's almost unavoidable that they will show up. However, they still struck me. It was like, oh no, where the heck do I put those pirates? However, the challenge before was perfect to introduce pirates. So the different plane bleeding in kind of lay the groundwork. It would have been much more trouble for me if it would have been, I think the temple was the other choice that was kind of in the balance. But I must say, I think also for Lockgod, you super quickly reacted because you had that river in the town, and you decided, well, okay, then we have pirates raiding that place, and they came on their ship into town. I think you handled that perfect.
Well, we'll see what you think about it when we go to the results shortly. Well, in a little bit, I should say, fairly shortly, as you get to vote. If you haven't yet voted and you've just joined the stream, dungeonfog.com/map battle madness. Go and vote now. Or hold your vote, because now we're going to just do one. We're going to do this one. Where am I? I'm on the right screen. Yes, I am. Sorry, I'm lost. Here we go. Bear with me. Technical errors. Something's gone wrong. We're going to look at the maps. Sorry, I thought it was a different screen. Here we are. The maps. Now, this is your map, Lord God. This is your city map. Now, you both decided to start with a city because it said that the prison was built in a city. So you decided to build the entire city and then the prison inside. Why didn't you just suggest city around the edge of the prison?
That would have been a way to go. I kind of thought that I was sort of just suggesting that there was a city and not trying to build a whole city in the time.
I mean, it's a pretty nice city.
Thanks. I was trying to make sort of the vignette that was this quiet city has been besieged by whatever is below. But I wanted to have enough city that it still felt like it was a place where people lived and things were happening.
Right. Now, when we look at this map that you've made, you've got little street lamps in there. Mm-hmm. And they'd be gas street lamps? Or giant
sure,
candles?
Yes.
Or
I would say gas. Gas would work.
Yeah, it looks like a pretty sophisticated city in terms of the paving and the streets that are going on. Then you had the entrance to your prison being this hole. Mm-hmm. What was your story there?
The story here was that this hole is not intended to be there, that whoever is below has just burst through the street, and the city is in trouble from them.
The city's in trouble from them. And then the pirates arrive on this very narrow canal.
Yeah.
And the pirates are after something else. They're after what's in the prison, is that right?
Yeah, so they've got word of whatever the beings living in the prison area have found and are trying to take it from them. So battle has ensued, and it apparently has been bloody.
Yes, there's lots of bloodstains everywhere as something is going on. All right, so that was your city. I thought you did a wonderful job here. I mean, look at this fountain, the attention to detail. You've got little flowers around the fountain. We won't talk about your choice of colours with the flowers because one would never put purple flowers with yellow and orange flowers like that. I mean, it's just terrible. Your horticulturalist or whoever does the city floral arrangement needs to be seriously examined.
He has been already eaten, so
he's
don't worry
already
about it.
been eaten. That's why. Yes, there we go.
He's colorblind.
Oh, I see. Okay, well, then that's a different story. Anyway, so yeah, you've got this lovely little sort of vignette happening with carts and things moving around.
Yeah, and the shadows are amazing.
Yes.
Can I just point out the lighting and the shadows and the mixture between the brush painted shadows and when you go up a little bit, you can see that there was mixed in a barrel, like at the crossing. There you go. You have mixed in the shadow that is cast by the barrel. That comes from the dynamic lighting of the system. So I do think that this card, the green one, probably should have cast the shadow in the opposite direction. But that's just me. That's just me shit talking your map because I'm afraid I'm going to lose here. No, this is brilliant. This is amazing mixture of color, lighting. I think the right amount of details. So I'm super strong. This is super strong map for a city.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. Three different shadow techniques. You've got the duplicate the prop, reduce it to 0 brightness, so it's completely black, and then reduce its opacity down, and offset from the
Oh yeah, there you
prop.
go with the trees.
That's
yeah.
with the trees. Then you've got the hand-drawn prop, which is you're using the path, not the path tool, you're using the brush tool for, and with. And then you have the actual light casting from a light source. Okay, so you're using all three there. That's really cool. If we go into the dungeon itself, and please remember, folks, if you have questions or comments, drop them into chat. I will read them out. Trust me. I got you. In the actual dungeon itself, the colors change quite dramatically. And we've got this sort of blues and greens and purples filtering through. Are those your go-to dark, dungy, denizen type of colors, or?
Certainly the purple is. I don't actually very often use the green, so this was a bit of an experiment building this map, which probably was not a great choice for like a timed competition, but I did it anyway.
Still worked beautifully.
You mean experimenting wasn't because the colors were brilliant.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, but I mean, very often I use actually probably blues and reds more often in the stuff that I do.
There we go. Okay.
But yeah, I thought I wanted it to feel eerie, like whatever had come through that gate didn't really belong here, and they had somehow corrupted this space.
You mean this gate here?
Yeah.
And that was your idea of a plane bleeding through?
Yeah, the customs area for whoever is coming through from their plane to this one to take over the city. They need to check in with the guard there and make sure they have their papers arranged.
All right, and then survive walking over the very rickety bridge.
Yeah, of whatever that goo is that's flowing toward the mad scientist's place.
Okay, and then I do like this long corridor that leads to basically nothing. I thought that was fun. Then you've got the Fairground of Judgment, I think you called it, or
the sentencing room. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Put your fate in the fortune teller.
Okay, and then if you are found guilty, you're sent into these cells.
Yeah.
One of these lovely cells.
Where you can watch the people working in the kitchen there all day.
Yeah, well, that's quite insane. I do agree with that.
It absolutely is. Then we've got a little breakaway passage here. That was just part of the insanity?
Yeah, so sort of trying to key into the like burrowing insect idea that they're going to make all these weird intersecting tunnels to get around in their space.
Yeah, makes sense. And then this is the trap that you built in terms of the puzzle that you built in.
Yeah, so the binary lock for the cell doors. So flipping those switches one way or another should open one of the doors in the prison.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah,
but it's binary, so you can represent a much bigger number.
I see. It sounds like hand waving to me, folks. Yeah, no, that's wonderful. It's just typical kind of players going, but there's only 8, but there's 10, but there's 8. That means there's 2 missing, and for the next 3 hours they will spend looking for the dungeon for those ones. Chat's just saying the colors are absolutely beautiful. Corridors leading to nothing are from the hunting ground for transparent oozes and the likes. Absolutely agree. All right, so on the whole, given this, I've got some questions. Do you think you should win?
Based on my map, yes, I should win.
Based on your map, yes, you should win. Okay, I like that. What did you like about your map?
I liked. I guess I liked the colors. Again, I'd never used them before in this space, kind of like this. And I sort of liked the way that the ideas came up as I was drawing the map. It's very different than the flow that I normally use when making a map for, say, my game. it would sort of be that my brain would land on an idea and it was like, yep, going with that now, which is not how I would normally do things. I would normally be pretty rigid in my planning, but in the competition, whatever sort of floated to the surface was immediately in the map. And I guess it was dictated by the dice rolls, but it was fun to see what sort of popped up.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think it's important to point out that how difficult it is if you actually don't know what you're creating and you have to kind of create it on the fly. Because even if you're taking part of the community contest afterwards and you're like, okay, I want to challenge the next winner, you already know what you're building. You can make up a mind. But in the situation here, you have a few minutes to decide how to incorporate city, prison, insane, and hive being. And you have to start with that. And at the moment where you slowly begin to realize what you want to do, bam, first random challenge. And you're suddenly now, oh no, now I have to do this and that, which is absolutely, well, that's why this thing is called the Map Battle Madness, because it's absolutely mad. And I think you did an amazing job there.
Thanks. And that's an interesting point, actually. It's so very different than the community challenge because you do know what you have to do in the community challenge, even if you have that small amount of time.
What do you hate about your map?
I hate that I didn't key in on the sort of hexagon idea that Till had in his map. I think that's brilliant. So I guess we'll see his map. And I hate the brush painted shadows on the city level, the ones that are not aligned with the direction of light as they should be. Initially, when I started drawing the map, I sort of thought it would be daytime. And then by the end of the competition, I had sort of made it dusk. So I don't think that these shadows would be as strong from dusk. And certainly like the one from the cart there in the middle is going the wrong way, unless the sun is very bright. So yeah, some confusing visual elements there.
There you go. Till, what do you hate about Lord God's map, apart from his shadows?
Wait, what? You mean, can I say I hate that it's so good? No, I think that's not the question, right?
Yeah, not really the question. What do you hate about the map?
Okay, so when you go to the second, I think the city map is brilliant. I already pointed out that some of the shadows might be a little bit weird, but the only thing that I would have done differently here is I think some of the wall shapes are a bit weird, where I'm like, okay, maybe because you use the Bezier curves to create them, and I don't know why, but I never use them. I feel like they're adding not the visual that I'm trying to achieve. So especially at the bottom, there is this kind of outcropping, incropping. And I do understand why you use them, because you wanted to create those natural burrowed paths. However, working with Bezier curves is really difficult to kind of create a nice curvature. And if I would recommend something to change in there, I would say go with jaggedy edges of a freehand drawn path instead of trying to work with the Bezier. That's it. I do love the color. I do love the concept with the dolls in each cell that are representing the cute. I also like very much the fortune teller, where when you're being sentenced, you kind of delivering yourself to the fortune teller, and he's like, strap him on the wheel or put him, I don't know, somewhere and throw balls at his face until he dies. So I think it's quite a cool map. No, that's it. That's all I can say.
All right. Let's have a look at your map. You too went with a city. You went with a much bigger city than Lord God did. You have multiple streets. You've also got labels, though, which are quite nice. If you have an opportunity, you've got the Jailer's Inn, you've got the Market Centre, and then you have the Black Market Hideout, too. What were those? What was thinking there?
Okay, so first of all, I was terribly afraid that the community, because I wanted to do the same thing that Lord God did and just do a little, like a street corner. But I was I was mortified that the community would then point out that Till did not do a city, and I'm not good at cities. That's one of the reasons why we're going to do a city builder in Deus, because I just can't do cities. I'm terrible with that. I think that was the most punishing role on the table for me, was the city. I could have dealt with everything else. And so I tried to create a city, or at least a bigger city district. And because the city and the prison have to be intertwined somehow, I tried to ask myself, how would a city grow around a prison? And I tried to understand what would be there, and definitely there would be an inn. So how would that be called? That must be called Jailer's Inn or something like that, because that's a cool name. There should be a marketplace, and I believe that if you need to smuggle cigarettes into your prison, or alcohol or whatever the inmates need in there, you need a black market. That's crucial. How else would you bribe the guards? So putting a black market there, I think, was, at least for me, kind of self-explaining. And then I had a big problem with not being able to decide whether or not the prison encampment is actually built to keep things in or out. I was undecisive until the end, as where the story goes with this map. So it is kind of both. You can't really tell whether or not this is built. As you can see, the ballista is pointing at the entrance, but then you have those barricades blocking the outside. So I wasn't really sure where to go with there. My biggest
siege tower.
And I have, yes, and I have a siege tower, because maybe something big is coming out of that hole. I don't know. I think it looked cool placing it there, and I was like, yeah, let's put it there.
In terms of the shadows, you use the same sort of techniques.
I use the same techniques. However, I regret so much that I did not go into the dusk setting, because the lighting, in comparison to Lord God's map, the lighting here is terrible. I would like, if I would do this map for my game, I would change the lighting, because you can't really tell whether it's daytime or is it early morning, afternoon. What time is it on that map? And also, I didn't work in enough colors to actually create kind of ambiguous areas on that map. So for the shadows, I used the brush shadows, I think almost exclusively. But that also was because I was running out of time, and I tried to create more 3D, three-dimensional space, more depth to the buildings. Yeah.
Now, what's interesting is that you have a scale change. Do you think? Because your rooftops, to me, seem to be for bigger buildings. But if you're sticking to the 5-foot square, then you've got some buildings that are only 10 foot wide.
Yes,
that's not a
true.
problem necessarily, because we're going from above into
yeah.
Yeah.
It's not labeled with a legend here. But I thought if I have to go city, I probably have to go with a scale change where a square equals, I don't know, 10 feet or probably 15 or 20 feet. Because then I can show the city. And in the prison, then, which becomes a dungeon crawl, you have to go back to the 5 feet.
And here is the prison. And lots of color. I think you got almost all the colors. Blue, purples, reds, greens. Yes, just a wide array of color.
Yes, I tend to work with a lot of color generally. Because I feel like color or atmospheric light is super important to set a scene. And it kind of, you can secretly transport messages or hints through using lighting and color. Like, for example, the bridge, with the purple color, I think everyone understands that I mean, I've ramped up the color later, because it is part of the astral plane that is bleeding in. But it is also, this is a magical construct that needs to be manipulated somehow. So adding some kind of color to hint the player that magic is happening here, is, I think, is helping through the color. Whereas if you go to cell block A, where the Elder Brain sits, this is where danger is. This is where the players will fight and will probably, I don't know, find their demise. So that coloring that red, I think, is quite obvious for the players to say, oh, shit's happening here. And the green is, you can use green whenever you want to create something that has a kind of dangerous atmosphere, or I don't know how to describe that best, but I mean, green is associated with poison, with spite, with betrayal. So adding green is perfect if you want to have witches. It's perfect if you want to have some weird magic going on, which means that it adds to the threat that is happening in cell block A, and it works nicely with red. So it allows the players to understand that they're now entering a different area, and they're still in a threatening area, but the threat is probably not obvious in their face, but is from somewhere else. Yeah, and the blues are, I tried to kind of play with cold cave colors. I think that's the best way to describe it.
Makes sense. Absolutely makes sense. Now, you had your mad scientist in that tower, the bridge control unit, which I thought was really cool. And then you had an astral pirate, just a single pirate.
Oh, don't call me out for forgetting to add an S there during that stressful time.
But what I wanted to know, and I'm not pointing this out because of any other fact than the fact that, it's nearly time to finish voting. But if I read your map, that astral pirate has parked his ship against a solid cliff face.
Yep.
Where is he going to go?
Well, he's okay. So I actually, I actually thought about that.
Good.
I was. The only way in there is using that main entrance, because it's a freaking prison. You shouldn't have too many entrances into a prison. Although I know that from a player or from a game perspective, you always should offer more than one entrance. I'm aware of that, but I felt like if that is a prison, then there should be one entrance. So the only way in is actually through that balcony there. So you need to, as a pirate, you probably want to hide your ship so that guards don't just see it, obviously, parked next to your balcony. But it needs to be in a distance where you can throw a grappling hook and climb over. There you go. You see?
Look at that. Look at that. Some wonderful thinking going on there. Now, what we didn't get to see, sadly, what we don't get to see in this preview, is that you actually linked all of this bridge stuff together, so you could actually rotate that.
Yes, that is a rotatable bridge.
A working sort of
puzzle.
Interface.
Yeah,
Puzzle
that was the puzzle, because you need to work out how to rotate that bridge using the bridge control room. Yeah.
Now, Till, let me ask you this question. Why do you think you should win?
No. Well, maybe. I mean, look.
No, I can't ask the question. I have the authority here.
I mean, I deserve some credit for, I think, the hexagonal layout. I think that was quite clever. I'm proud of that. I do like my coloring in this layer. I know, however, we had this battle before. I've been doing maps on stream, and I know the pressure. I know how stressful this is, and I was really impressed with how Lord God went through this contest. He was amazing. His city is much better than mine, so I do not feel betrayed if I do not lose. I think that Kyle, you would win this with honor. I would just look at the names who voted for you and probably ban them from Dungeon Fog forever.
People better watch out.
Yeah. All those fake accounts I made. Oh, well.
Oh.
I think we kind of handled some of the other questions that I had lined up for you, Till. But what would you change in hindsight?
Well, apart from the lighting on the city, I'm really not happy with that. In this level, I might revisit it from a game mechanic perspective, because I think it was jumbled together in a few hours. I would treat this more as a concept map than an actual map that you can play on, because I think you could easily jump wherever you like to. So the distances are off a bit. And probably the rooms are a bit too small. They could be bigger. I spaced out and forgot what was the initial question?
What would you change?
Oh, thank you. No, I think general spacing. That's the only thing where I feel like, okay, this needs a second touch.
You'd make it bigger, basically.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. All right. Lord God, what do you hate about Till's map?
I hate how well considered everything is. Every cell has a drain in the floor. The layout is so perfect in the hexagon area. The bridge puzzle is great because whoever's controlling the bridge can't go across it. So you have to leave a man behind in order to cross the bridge, if you want to go to the cell block. And then on the city level, I think it gives there's so much going on here that there's so many storytelling opportunities that I didn't even consider in my map. Because I had closed in so far on the street, I didn't think that there's going to be all this infrastructure around, like the black market and the market center and the inn and any other buildings that are here. That's, from a gameplay perspective, that's excellent, because there's so much you can do before you even go to the prison. And then there's so much infrastructure around the prison as well. I think that lends itself really great gameplay opportunity.
Although, just to add something here, if you think about it, I'm really curious to see what the community is doing, because I think technically we both had kind of a topic fail because we've created two separate maps. There is the city map, either it's the street level, and there is the prison, but it was not one battle map that is a city prison. And I'm just saying, even now, even after a week, I wouldn't know how to solve that. That is a really hard mix to create. So I'm super curious to see how the community is actually solving that. And if someone can come up with a better idea of how to create a city that has the function prison, that was built by an insane mind. And again, we've been talking about Snake Plissken and the, what's it called? Escape from LA.
Los Angeles, yeah.
Right. Because that would be a city with a function prison. And we kind of cheated our way around that, which is fair, because in 3 hours and you're just sitting there and like, oh my God, what should I do with that? Yeah.
Interesting challenge. All right. Well, the time has come for us to close the voting and to start putting it all together. So I know there's some goblins sitting in the background, busy getting everything ready to do all of that. So the voting will now close.
Yes. So
and
can you give a countdown? Then I know when to press my export button.
Very well. We will give you a countdown of 10, 9, 8, What's after
7?
8? 7.
Come on.
6. No, I was trying to think about putting out the website in case anyone wanted to vote quickly, which is dungeonfog.com/map battle madness. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Feed.
Okay, there you go.
All right.
So now it is closed.
There's a question here for you, Till. How many Dungeon Fog coins do I get for voting?
How many would you like? I'm sorry, it's too late. The question was too late. I think Guy asked that purposefully too late. Why are you bringing up that question after I closed the vote? Okay. So let me just quickly send that to our goblin.
Voting is happening, and in the meantime, we are going to watch a recap of what happened last week. In case you didn't miss the madness, here it is in 10 minutes. A 3-hour stream, well, actually it's more like 4 hours or 3.5 hours, compressed down into 10 minutes of random craziness. If you have already voted, grab some popcorn. You're going to get a kick out of watching this. And if you haven't yet voted, well, it's too late now. So you might as well watch the video and enjoy seeing what happened and went into this insanity. We'll be back as soon as the video is finished with the winner of Map Battle Madness 2022. They're going to hide me a little bit, so I'm going to be sort of peeking around and over the edges of them, saying, do you see the rules over there? I see the rules over there. I'm looking at you, Till, because I know that Till likes to use pre-made templates and things. So none of that sort of stuff, which I actually think may have turned the tide in the voting. That and his rampant cheating, of course. So, you know, either way, for 2022, I hope the two of you are ready for this. Till, what have you been doing to prep for this?
Well, of course, I did my push-ups, I did my stair run-ups and stair run-downs.
No, this is basic, whatever is in the comes with Dungeon Fog pack, which is only about 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 assets.
7,000, yes.
There we go, 7,000 assets. So if you can't find what you're looking for in 7,000 assets, I think you're stretching. Chat is saying 7,000 assets is very limiting. I'm not sure Till can actually do something good with only 7,000. Question: what does Till's T-shirt say?
It says, well, I think it's really good for today. It says no map time, no prep time, no problem. We will see if I can keep up that promise.
Oh my. Oh my.
No, I don't like that sound.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. It's split between 10 and 12. Either it's an insane or it's magical.
I just wanted to say, Lord God, I told you about the madness that's happening here. There's no turning back from that. I'm sorry, but this is.
Darkness Descends says, I'm only here to watch Lord God trying to do this. Lol. Lord God, how is it going?
It's going. I've started.
Why am I green screening myself? I'm trying to figure that out because I can see that Lord God can work with green and I somehow can't. I'm not sure what I.
It has nothing to do with you whatsoever, Till. It was a setting on someone else's side, and I'm not going to mention any names at all.
Don't be 11, please. Don't be 11.
No, it's not 11. I think it's worse than 11.
How can I be even?
Okay, Till.
Yes.
What you doing?
I
was very amazed. I was at Newcastle Castle the other day. That is literally the name of the castle, Newcastle Castle. I like how Lord God is still diligently working as he talks to Guy, while the ever-confident Till is happy to down tools and gesticulate to answer. Ha ha! You have discovered my cunning plan. Till, have you looked at the something cute yet?
Well, yes, I have written it down. There you go.
I have to say that when you look at the one map, and this could just be me, it almost looks as if it's ready to play. Whereas the other map is very much still in its design stages.
Okay. That's actually helping.
Is it helping?
That's helping?
It is.
Okay, we have not done our jobs properly, folks. I mean, chat's just being mean.
No. Why are you
Great.
saying that?
As Paul Mitzer says, have to make this as grueling as possible. Being mean is what we're here for, right? As chat's saying, they're both devs, so this should be a cakewalk, right? Coming up with puzzles? Sheena Tiger is saying, I can see Till going through the chat logs and banning all the users who voted for the winning options as revenge for being mean. They've still got quite a lot of time before another puzzle is introduced. And by quite a lot of time, I mean 18 minutes. Mwahaha.
Mwah.
I must admit, it's a lot of fun being on this side of the competition, folks. It is being the one in the hot seat going, what do you mean I have to add in a this? Oh dear. Oh my. Okay.
I don't like the sound of that.
We've got one number that seems to be prevailing at the moment, unless I'm very much mistaken, to try and find something that gets them to not be so jubilantly happy. We don't want them to be jubilantly happy. We want them to be screaming and gnashing their teeth in frustration and terror. Or maybe that's just me.
We were looking at this earlier, and I think probably like between 3 and 5 dozen maps.
3 and 5 dozen maps. So I'm just translating that into real numbers. So 3 and 5 dozen. My old English is not up to snuff. Would that be a baker's dozen or a regular dozen?
I guess probably somewhere between 40 and 60 maps.
If you talk about your height, you use feet and inches. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Apparently, when you talk about the number of maps you've made, you use dozens and scores of dozens. Right. I've given you 5 minutes of grace. Or have I taken 5 minutes of your life away? Let's see. This one, folks.
Oh, I don't like that laugh.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You have to add in a place where a different plane has bled through.
Oh, yes!
Oh, someone's happy. Lord God, you don't seem too happy about that.
Actually, after 2 seconds of considering it, maybe I think I have something, but
What sort of plane would you recommend that they add? Is it a plane, the astral plane, the plane of fire, the plane of water, some kind of bizarre alternative plane, semi-plane, demi-plane, pocket plane, multiverse plane? I think when we look to potential sources of reference, there are so many different types of planes that we could add in. Could it be an aeroplane? I had to do it. I mean, I had to say it, right?
Oh, God, Guy.
Yeah, it's late. All right. And, you know, I figured, why not? We've got Craft Crazy RPG saying, Till's map is a real cliffhanger. If you were a map, what kind of map would you be?
I would be a sailing ship.
Okay, I'm afraid to ask why.
Because of where I grew up.
On the sea?
I grew up next to the sea.
Aha. Okay, there we go. A sailing ship.
Very difficult question.
Till, what kind of map would you be?
That's a terrible question for that time of the evening. Oh my God. I would be a vacational island map because that's where I want to be right now.
Till, how you feeling?
I'm almost done.
Almost done, he says, with confidence and calmness. And you're not worried about this final component?
Oh, right. No. Boo.
Well, there's a challenge. There's a challenge. A place of worship in the middle of this crazy prison built by insane hive minds in the middle of a city that contains something cute with a puzzle, a mad scientist, and a different plane already. Can you give me a good R, Lord God?
Arr.
R, that's a good R. Till, what's your R like? R, there we go.
So all I need to do now is quickly build an airship, and I'm done with it.
You have 23 minutes and 44 seconds to quickly build an airship.
Thank you.
Till, is there anything that you've forgotten to place on your map?
Well, probably.
Lord God, anything you've forgotten?
I'm sure.
It also guards our awakened seals, which are really cute. Trust me on that. But they were murder hobos, so they had to be locked up.
Okay, folks. Well, we have now come to that moment that hopefully you've all been waiting for. Someone says, who's excited? I'm excited. So this is how we're going to do it. Hopefully we're going to go through the categories. So the first category, meeting the theme. Did they meet the theme? You have voted, and this is what you said. Lord God met the theme quite a lot more than Till did.
Quite a lot more.
Surprised
Quite
about that.
a lot more.
Yeah.
So, meeting the theme. Prison, hive mind, insanity. Okay. So that's one, Lord God. Next, facing the challenges. Are dolls cuter than seals?
Oh, no.
This is what you said you voted for?
Oh,
was
that
close.
was close.
Oh.
Holy moly.
Apparently some of you like dolls. A lot of you like seals. Split community there. I think that's too close to call. Too close to call. All right. Aesthetics. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. You beheld both maps, and this is what you said. Lord God trumps Till by 1,000,000 miles. That's
Wow.
2 definitely to Lord God.
3.
Well, the middle one was a bit iffy. It was a bit iffy. You could come back still. There's still 2 categories left. Still 2 categories left. All right. And the next one is creativity. Your
Oh,
traps, your swing bridge was really creative. I did like that. But does it beat a circus carnival deciding your fate? Not sure. Chat saying, Till, you should have used otters. That would have got you more points.
Oh,
Otters
how did
are
I
cute
forget
and
about the otters?
Who knows? With regards to creativity, it's Till. Till's taken it. There we
Wowzers.
go. Apparently there was more creativity in
But
that
still
swing
really
bridge.
close.
Oh, well, absolutely. 1 to Till, 2 to Lord God, 1 undecided. A big win here could tip it in Till's favour. You're used to doing this. All right, so let's have a look. The last category. Playability. Whose map did you think you would rather play on? Whose map was more interesting to play on? The answer that you gave, Lord God's. You said it was Lord God's map. That's what you said. And so,
Yeah,
folks,
I agree.
when we come back to it all, I'm afraid to say, with so much joy and happiness in my heart that I cannot contain myself, that from a total of 780 votes, who is this year's Map Battle Madness champion? Who is the monarch? With 488 votes, it is Lord God.
Congratulations. Wow.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You have dethroned the king.
Yeah,
Long
the
live
title,
the king.
the title of Fogmaster. Now I have to unbuckle my champion belt and hand it over. Goes to Lord God. That's perfect. The community is now taking over this map battle madness, and that means well deserved. I'm super proud of you. This was amazing. It was a beautiful map, and I think you deserve the title.
Thank you.
And B, now you're going to face someone else out of the community. When we bring the next community challenge, we will see who is up against you.
Absolutely.
That's very stressful.
Very stressful indeed. Indeed, the pressure is now on you. This is fantastic, folks. We will be announcing the Map Battle Madness Community Challenge later on in the year, where you will get to participate and submit your maps. Now we know to come and fight against Lord God and try and claim the throne for yourself. So watch social media for that. Practice, practice, practice. You've seen a lot of the tips, the tricks, the little things that get put into making these maps stand out just that much better. So you have no excuse now. Anyway, a massive thank you to all of you who cast your votes. We really do appreciate that. And to all of you, of course, who joined us for the streams and asked all your wonderful questions and kept us company throughout the entire challenge. Really do want to say a big thank you to all of you for that. A big thank you to the staff at Dungeon Fog who've been working behind the scenes to make all these lovely graphics, to keep track of the scoring and all that kind of stuff, and who post links into chat. Botisaurus, I'm looking at you, as well as to the other moderators who are involved in all of the streams and things. Big thank you to them. And of course then a massive thank you to both of our contestants, to Till and to Lord God, for coming through and giving us so generously of their time and sharing their secrets to all of us. Really enjoyed watching both of you go head to head. Yes,
it was a lot of fun. I must say, it was hilarious. It was great. Just so that everybody knows, we have a lot of stuff upcoming in May and in June.
That's right.
July and August will be a bit of a summer break in terms of streaming. So the community contest is probably taking place not immediately after this show, but we will probably push it in summer or early fall, so that we have a new contest lined up. So if you're super excited, you have a bit of time for training. We will bring back the contest, the community contest, but it is not going to happen right after the show, but rather after the summer break.
Absolutely. The king has to enjoy his seat.
Of course.
Absolutely. Get comfortable, get lazy, get fat, get beheaded. That's how it usually goes, isn't it? Anyway, we will be back at the end of next month with Mapping It Out, where we'll bring you all the latest news and updates from the Battle Map Editor, as well as Project Deos. Some exciting things coming up for us at the end of May, I think. But until then, I think all that remains is for me to say thank you to everybody. And anything that I've left out, Till? I don't think so. Maybe?
Well,
No?
I would like to hear a few words from the winner.
Well, thank you very much, everybody who puts this contest together. It was great fun. Thanks, Guy, for hosting everything. And thank you, Till, for being such a great competitor and so much fun to play against.
Yeah, as Guy said last time, I will wait for the chance to win back that title. Now we're going to see who can keep up, who can wear the crown a little bit from the community. And then I will come back.
There you go.
I will hunt you.
There we go. Folks, it has been our pleasure to bring this show to you. And yes, where's the slide? I've got to go and find the slide. Oh, goodness. There we go. Not that one. I'm getting there. And all that remains is to say thank you for watching. Good night, goodbye, and happy map making.
Bye.